Myself is Ravi. I'm having, I'm running in my IT industry since 2006. Earlier, I was started working in Tech Mahindra, and when I start my career, being a fresher, I started my IT career in Tech Mahindra company in 2006. And being with 9 years tenure of time, I've been working in couple of BI tools. Okay. Like I'm purely a BI guy, a business intelligence guy. So during that tenure of time, I worked in Informatica and SAS BI tool and SQL Server integration services such as IS. Cognos. Cognos is not the full-fledged technology, so good knowledge. I don't have it, but whereas I know how to implement the Cognos. And Teradata BI tool and Oracle. These are my core skill set. And of course, I'm certified in Oracle. So currently, I'm working as a ETL architect. How the ETL architect means, like when the requirement is coming to the picture, then how to design it, how to take a decision of a table. So what kind of tables we should need it, what kind of data we are pulling from source, and how the warehousing has to be built it. So those kind of roles I'm handling. Okay. The course content, I'll explain the course content. Okay, so what I'm going to cover and what you are going to do. Okay, so that ETL testing generally, the extensions have the functional testing. So we should know what are the procedure to raise a defect or something like how to follow these things. So I'm not going to cover the how to raise a defect and how to follow up and what the priority and severity, something how we can give it. Those points I'm not going to cover it. I'll explain you something what are concept I'm going to start it. Okay. I'll start from database concept. Why? Because ETL is completely running using a SQL only. We are not going to write any simple test case or sample test scripts like that, go to this place or something like that. We are running the complete SQL. SQL is a basic funda. SQL is a Bible for ETL testing. You should run each and everything in a SQL only. You don't write or you do the practice only in using SQL. You're not going to writing any other things are there. This is your job. Okay. So BI means that is the business intelligence. So business intelligence, how it is running, it's always interactive with the data, always interactive with the actuals. We are not going to provide any kind of template to the users. We are going to get the data and we are going to analyze the data, how the data looks like. So people are coming from different background. Then I don't want to take a chance without running the SQL knowledge. Then it's very difficult to enter into the course. So before that reason, I would like to start from the SQL. So that background, I start with the SQL, how many concepts we are using it, what are the commands we are using in ETL testing. I'll cover all those points. Like I'll start from basics, DDL and DML, and arithmetic operations also, like where conditions, how we're going to work it. And there are grouping functions and string, cast string, and aggregate functions, and definitely we are covering. And this conditional expressions like case, colis, NVL, set operators of the union, all these things. And the joins and subqueries definitely. So these are our key topics. We are going to cover it. So these are when I'm saying that particular class, suppose if I cover the particular DDL command today, then I'll add some assignment to you in after each and every class. I'll give some assignment to you. So your thing has to be, you have to make a note when I'm running the class. I'm not going to give any PPT. Okay, this is my only one PPT. I have it. You are not going to see any other PPTs. My class would be purely practical oriented. So it's not a theoretical concept. if I say something detailed command using the syntax, then you will not understand it. You should see how the detailed command is working and how to create a table and how we are going to do it. Getting, guys, what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess definitely. So definitely you should be in the position to practice it every day. After each and every class, I should do some practice. At least to 1 hour time you should spend after class. So then I'll make sure that definitely you learn the data. So this is the Bible for BI. SQL is the Bible for BI. Without SQL knowledge, you will not enter into the BI. Okay. This concept definitely I'll cover it. I'll give the more priority in SQL. These are high level concepts. Okay, we have lot of concepts are there inside it. This is for this purpose I kept these points only. Okay. Then once these SQLs are completed, then if you're familiar with this thing, then we'll move on to the data warehousing. So these are data warehousing concepts. So these are theoretical concepts. This here I've used the PPT. Okay. Here I use the PPT. So these are theoretical concepts. What are the data warehousing? Why we need data warehousing and where we use the data warehousing. Okay. And how that data warehousing working and why we need a data warehousing. Okay. So some methods we have it in data warehousing, how we can build a table and how we can make a relationship. What kind of data is we should maintain it and why we need data warehousing in real time. So then how the companies are maintaining, what kind of data marts are there. And these are the concepts we are going to discuss in our data warehousing. There are kind of tables we have, fact table, dimension table, and methods we have it. And schemas also we have it. So those are the concepts we are going to discuss, like data warehousing, data modeling. So I'll explain you something, how suppose when the requirement is coming to the picture, then what is our job, like ETL architect will do. How he take a decision, how he is going to design a table, and how he will take a decision which is which is a fact table, which is a dimension table, and what kind of data is looking by a business. So these kind of things we are going to discuss in detail. So these are the theoretical concepts. Okay, you should have the knowledge on these theoretical concepts to run ETL testing. Okay, ETL testing, simple testing will not work out. Okay, you should know the background of why we need it and where the ETL testing comes to the picture. Actually, the ETL testing comes within data warehousing. Okay, you should know how the data warehousing working. That complete panel, you should know it. Okay, so then next I'll go with an ETL tool, one more ETL tool. Okay, if you want to run a ETL testing, you should have the knowledge on ETL development also. At least you should know how the mapping has been created and what kind of rules has been implemented. Why I'm going to cover this ETL tool instead of ETL testing? It's a development concept, purely it's a development, but still I want to cover it. The reason behind this, you might be having an idea in how the real-time is, how real-time things are working. Suppose you have one requirement is there, and the document is there, requirement document. 90% cases, the requirement document would not be updated. 90% cases, 95% cases, as I can say. So why? Because at the end of the time, suppose tomorrow we have to deliver the particular changes to the testing team, then at last minute the developers did some changes or something based on the requirement, they done some changes and implemented into the testing. But the time being, they didn't update the requirement document because they don't have sufficient time. They're busy with some deliverable. They don't have that much sufficient time to update the specification document. Then you have some of the old specification document, requirement document, but their implementation is completely different. Then how you're going to sync it? The question comes to the picture. So then you're referring with the old document which is not implemented by the developer. How it was happened. Then, instead of asking them and going there, you go back to ETL tool and look at it. How this guy is implemented, what this guy is implemented. Is the guy implemented as per the requirement, or something has happened wrong? So you should go back to your ETL tool and checking the mapping and rule, how this guy is implemented. There you need ETL development knowledge. At least you can understand it, how the rule has been implemented. What is the rule? How is that implemented? So these things, because of that reason, and you should go back to ETL tool and look in. Let me tell you my real-time experience. One of the application is it was maintained in Cognizant, and it came to my company. It came to me purely, and then it's an insurance domain project. I was looking at the KD and everything is done, and when you start the analysis the application and one new enhancement request is coming up. So when you start doing some enhancement request, we are referring with the, is there any specific document has been maintained for this thing? Okay, what are the rules document? Okay, the mapping document. In the mapping document we have it, but this was updated in 2010 or kind of thing. So there is no such a documentation. The guys are keep on adding the changes continuously in application, and there is no document is updated. Nothing is there. Then we would like to understand the existing system, how the system is working, what are the rules as implemented, what is the design of a system exactly. Is there any specific table has been joined differently? The document is saying the different, and and the actual thing is saying the different. There is so many new columns I could see in my table structure, actual table structure, but whereas the document is saying only 5 to 7 columns are there. I could see 12 columns in my table. Then what to do? The table is different and the document is different and mapping is different. I don't have an option. So then I go back to ETL tool and looking at all those things. Why, how this is implemented and how it is working. 95% cases are like this. The document is not updated. Then you understand that ETL tool. I would like to cover how to create a mapping and what are the components we have it, and how to design a flow. And by end of this particular session, you should be in the position to create one flow, and like a developer, how developer is done, you should be in the position to implement a job also. I'll make sure that definitely. Okay, so there are some cases where ETL tester also should be create one kind of mapping. There should be some, there might be some cases. Okay, so then you should be in the position to create one flow and one new job by your own. It's not dependent on developers. Okay, so then I'll cover how many sources we have. So we are going to cover with an Oracle as well as Teradata with the source and targets. Okay, we are going to practice the sessions using that Oracle as well as Teradata while learning informatics. Okay, so Teradata is one more database. I'll come to the Teradata later. Okay, Oracle is one more database. So you can put the two profiles, the two databases in your profile. I know that how the ETL tool is working using Teradata as well as Oracle. Okay, then we'll go to the transformation rules. See, next move to the ETL testing. So this ETL testing and ETL development I'll cover in simultaneous. The reason behind this, I'll create one mapping being a developer. Okay, then I'll explain you how the particular mapping is going to test by the tester. Okay, I'll take one scenario, I'll take one sample scenario, and how I'll do the same scenario in ETL tool, and I explain you how the tester is going to validate it, how to validate the tester. So that you'll understand how the developer, you'll understand the both. These concepts will be running simultaneously. I'll take one scenario and prepare it and done something the mapping and everything is done and design it and you can run the job. that is developer task is done. Okay. Then I'll come to testing part. Then I'll validate the data using some methods. How we are going to validate the data? Where is the source and how we can write the questions and those things. So those things I'll cover it using the SQL part. Okay. So here it is. There are kind of topics we are going to cover it. I'll cover the real-time scenarios, like how I face the issues. What are the major issues we are facing in real time? Okay, and what are the approaches? Suppose if you see any kind of data issue, then what is our approach? And so validate multiple sources. Definitely, that is the key point in the ETL testing. So one table is there in Teradata, one table is there in our Oracle, and how we are going to validate it. There's two different designs. Okay, and next one is how to prepare test plan and test estimates. Okay, so estimates and test plan, maybe something functional testing. There might be having the test plan. Any testing guys? Okay, Shani, are you from testing background or which background? Okay, fine. So in that case, fine. So you guys are aware of the how the test case would be working and what the test case and how test plan would be working and estimates. Estimates I'll explain you how to give estimates with respect to ETL test. And design test cases and test scenarios and test scripts and test data. Test data is a very critical part. Okay, and there are some cases where we don't have a data to test it in a table. Suppose you want to test one flag value, yes or no, but in source they don't have any particular record with respect to flag, yes or no. Then now you can test it. Then we should be in the position to create it. You should create the test data using some methods, some sequels, and to run your validations. Okay, and last one is how to detect a bug. Then something wrong with the data and the user is reported, a business guy is reported, no, this is something wrong. Then how you are going to validate it? Whether you say something yes or no, first of all, like whether is it true, if the issue is there or not. In that case, definitely you should have sufficient SQL knowledge to debug it. Okay, so where to test it, how to test it. This is the course content, guys. Okay, any questions?
So even you teach defect tracking in the ETL testing?
No, that's what I covered. That is the exception because defect tracking is a common for functional testing and ETL testing. There's no difference. Okay, why? Because that raising a bug, and this is how you raise a bug generally. Like you say something like summary, this particular data is not, this particular functionality is not working. Assume that the submit button is not working in your functional testing or something. Then you could say something, submit button is not working in particular application. That is summary you maintain, and in the steps you say something like what you do, something I enter this URL and go back to this place and this username this one and password is this one and I submit this thing. So expected result, that particular page has to be opened. Then actually that is not responding. Still it is there in the same page. That's what we maintain. Here also the same procedure in a database, in data methodology. Like you're expecting this table should be having this particular column, but the table column is not there. The approach is same. That internal content is different.
Yeah.
Raising it.
The testing, I don't know much about the defect tracking.
Okay, so Miss, did you ever work with a quality center? No.
No.
So defect tracking is not a big deal basically. Okay, if you enter into the Google or something else in YouTube, you could see something how the defect tracking is. That comes under the manual testing. It's not comes under the ETL testing. ETL testing is an addition for manual testing, functional testing. And so I'll show you something how to raise a defect. Some theoretical I can explain you, but where to raise a defect, and if I get a chance, then definitely I'll give.
You mean to say in ETL testing we don't use defect tracking tools? It's only for application testing.
No, we definitely will use it. Okay, that's the addition for this functional testing. This additional, the same concepts is there, you see, test plan and testing, regression testing and retesting all are same function, same thing. But the approach is different here.
Okay.
Okay, that approach is different. Okay, so here the functional testing, the quality center is a separate separate thing. Okay, separate topic. Like how to raise a defect and how we can upload the test cases, how we can execute the test cases from quality center, how we can pass it, how we can tag it. That is a separate topic. So I'll get a chance. If I get a chance, definitely I'll cover at least. I'll spend 1 or 2 days to explain those concepts. Okay, so that quality center, how the quality center is working. But theoretically, I can explain you. I'll give some kind of material also. Maybe somewhere else I should have that functional testing material. I'll definitely pass it. Okay. And this is the course content. Yeah, one more guy. Yeah, please. Yeah,
and for ETL, we got to learn PL SQL or only SQL is?
No. SQL is sufficient. SQL is sufficient. Okay, so the reason, like if you want to learn the ETL testing, you should have the knowledge on SQL, but we don't need any PL skill. Okay, so PL skill is purely related to something programming, right? But you don't need it. You should be in the position to write a SQL code. That's
Even
it.
for ETL development also PL SQL is needed?
ETL development also, some cases we might be required, but most of the time we don't need PL SQL. Why? Because PL SQL is a procedure thing generally. So in ETL, most of the 90% cases we don't write any procedures.
Okay.
We'll write only that something. It's a plug and play. It's the ETL tool. All other things are kind of plug and play. We don't need any kind of knowledge. Basically, you should know the knowledge in SQL part. That's it.
How about triggers and store procedures?
No. Those comes under that PLSQL part.
Okay.
We don't need all those things. So I'll provide some materials. Okay, material means something software kind of thing and everything, like how it is going to run. So this is a VMware mission. Okay, so this is the VMware where I'm going to run my sessions. Okay, so this VMware I'll provide you entirely. You don't need to worry about that, how installation and everything. I'll upload it, and anywhere I have it in my so in my Google Drive. I'll share with you guys, so you can download it directly.
Okay.
Directly can download. I can use it. Okay. How my sessions would be? As I mentioned, it's only first day. It's for demo. I have one PPT. Apart from that, nothing. I don't have a PPT, and I'll run using that actual code. I'm not going to give any kind of theoretical things. Purely practical. And for every day, I'll pass something assignment to you guys. Okay, so ETL testing, like assignment. Okay, suppose today I covered some ETL concept, assume that. Then I'll share this concept, I'll share this particular document with you. Then you download it and you can practice it. You should not maintain, you should maintain one pen and paper for dedicated to everything. Okay, why? Because this training might be recorded. You will get something training also, but I don't believe you are going to go back to particular training and the video and looking at. But you should write all the things in your notebook. Okay, so whatever I said, definitely you should write it. Suppose joins, I covered it, something like some queries we cover it. And in middle of the course, I'll conduct one kind of exam. Okay, so I have some exam paper also. I have some kind of exam. So what is your knowledge level, whether you're practicing or not, something like that. Why? Because before moving into ETL development, then I want to validate your understanding. Where are you standing? Okay, every day you should practice. Every day. You should spend at least minimum 1 hour in a day. Apart from a session, then only you learn. If you good in SQL, then you will you the king in BI. SQL part is a key part in in this all areas, BA areas. And end of the session, so we'll practice some of the queries. Okay, these are queries I have it in around something like around something like 300 or some 300, 350 kind of queries I have it, and questions I have it. So 200% you will get the questions from this list only. Okay. So for interview questions, how the interviews are asking something. If you know this, if you practice all this session, then you will you can able to manage your ETL development as well as testing interview almost. Okay. And I have one more questions also. Like I have some many questions. Those who are shared, and I shared with all students. Okay, so this is my this is my way of style. Okay, I'll explain you how. Okay, yeah. So this is inbuilt system. So where all database means like Oracle. What is Oracle? Yeah, Oracle is already inbuilt over here. Okay, installed, and Toad also already installed. Okay, and Informatica also installed. Okay, so these are the products we read. We don't need currently Teradata. So the system behind Teradata, I'll provide a separate software for Teradata. Okay, so then what I'll do every day something we'll practice like this. We'll run the session like this. We'll open the Toad and practice it. I'll explain it with some sample scenarios. Okay.